I'm sure you all know this feeling. You come home from work or your studies, all tired and just want to relax. You open your Steam library and browse through the games aimlessly until you realize that everything is either too complex at the moment or you just don't feel like trying too hard. Everything seems tiring. Remember how in childhood we were able to come home from school and just sit back and play non-stop? Remember how exciting it felt? Nowadays, with all the work, studies, and responsibilities, it is hard to have that much fun again. Hard to just relax. Your mind just wants some brainless action, and so most of us descend into the scrolling rabbit hole, looking for dopamine. But what if there was a game that could bring you as much dopamine as doom scrolling without making you even more tired? And as I'm saying this, I know that there are probably a lot of games like this, but today we are going to speak about a very specific one. I present to you Mullet MadJack, the flashy roguelite boomer shooter about robots, massacre, and dopamine. The game is set in the year 2095, when humanity and technology have merged and the robo-billionaires now rule the world. The main character, with the telling name Jack Banhammer, is hired as a moderator by Peace Corp, which is basically Twitch if it was a dictator. The objective is very simple: rescue the influencer from a skyscraper filled with killer robots. So where's the catch? The main mechanic of the game is that you get only 10 seconds to complete each floor, with every kill giving you an additional second. This is where the fun begins. You can't strategize, you can't wait around. The only option is to rush forward. Even putting the whole dopamine discussion aside, there is something poetic about simply moving forward, isn't there? Our lives are usually so full of different decisions, uncertainties, and unknowns that the simple formula of having only one path open to you works perfectly. You don't have to think about where to go next. The general path will always be the same, no matter whether you choose the left or the right door. And this is what makes it so relaxing. Which is funny, because you wouldn't expect a game with this many colors, noises, and so much chaos going on to be about relaxation at all. And these one-liners from the streamer? Not Leon Kennedy level yet, but close enough.
If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door.
The art style also adds to this whole mess, making the game very enjoyable. The 80s, 90s anime vibes is here everywhere, and it is absolutely fantastic. The vibrant colors, the humor, the multitude of elements, there is so much character to this game, even in the smallest of the details. The arcade-like presentation makes it easy to lose yourself in the action and brings back some of that simple excitement of just playing the game. But why? Why is it relaxing when there is so much happening on the screen? Believe it or not, there have been countless discussions in which people mention that cozy games can also be stressful for them under certain conditions. Stardew Valley puts some people under time pressure, as the passage of time makes them subconsciously want to maximize everything. Animal Crossing makes people anxious because of the sheer number of possibilities you have when it comes to terraforming, decorating, and taking care of the island. Sunhaven has a huge town with too many people, and it is not clear where to start at the very beginning of the game. You get what I mean. In Mullet MadJack, there is no confusion aside from the question, how did I die? You rush ahead, push through rooms, and have fun with it. You will die, and sometimes you will die a lot, until you simply get a feeling. The feeling of flow. You only have 10 seconds. Each time you take damage, the time is deducted. If the time hits 0, you die. You have no right to stop. Killing is your only choice. Now seems the right time to speak about the gameplay. How this game is structured. Basically, in each chapter you have to overcome 10 floors without dying and fight the boss at the end. Each floor is a randomly generated assortment of environments and enemies corresponding to the current chapter. And even though it is generated randomly, there is a limited number of layouts, so it is actually not too hard to memorize them all. To kill the enemies, you can either use your weapon or your leg to kick them into the environmental hazards. There's also a third option which I find to be the most stylish of them all. You grab a melee weapon and ban them by crushing their skulls. This method also maxes out seconds you have remaining, which is very useful in critical scenarios where you don't have much left. After each floor, you will be able to select an upgrade either for your weapon or for your character. Here's where it gets really chaotic. You can get a chance for the enemies to blow up from any bullet and obtain immunity to certain hazards. You can send shurikens on reload or acquire the manliness of the protect that weakens everything around him. And even though it is a roguelite, which means you will have some of your bonuses transferred into your next attempt, it doesn't suffer from the biggest issue I have with the genre. The permanent upgrades are useful, but they never feel mandatory. A weapon and your own skill are all you need to clear the entire game if you wish to do so. You don't really have to think much in this game if you don't want to, and I think it is great. There are 7 distinct weapon types in the game: revolver, shotgun, submachine gun, railgun, plasma rifle, and elemental katanas, fire and ice. All weapons feel differently and provide a nice and unique experience. As mentioned previously, you will also obtain useful upgrades for these weapons to either make them playable, yes, I'm speaking about you, plasma rifle, or completely OP. Let me tell you about my favorite ones. SMG is a freaking monster, fast, deadly, and easy to wield. At first, has low damage and accuracy, but this is quickly fixed by the upgrades and then it becomes unstoppable. Also scales incredibly well with each upgrade. The katana is the coolest one. You can slice, you can throw it, and you can even deflect bullets if you find such an upgrade. The fact that there are 2 different elements on them also adds some spice to the formula. Ice one can freeze and fire one can blow things up. And well, you know, I like swords, so there wasn't really a competition. The soundtrack is brilliant and brings the whole experience together. At first, it simply feels like the perfect background for all the pixels, violence and chaos happening on the screen. But the more you play, the less it feels like background music. You start following the rhythm, and at some point the game stops feeling chaotic. Everything falls into place. The more you play, the more you feel it. Feel the flow. You only have 10 seconds. Each time you take damage, time is deducted. You have no right to stop, and then you start hearing the rhythm. The soundtrack playing in your ears leads you through the rooms and becomes your guide. Your hands feel the aim, and the robots die as if you did nothing. The bullet flies right past you, and it doesn't matter. You knew it wasn't going to hit you anyway. Everything is exactly as it should be, and you smile along with the protagonist because you know, the only way is forward. Thank you so much for watching, fellas. This game is awesome and I'm sure you felt the heat. If you had even a single thought about trying it, go for it, you are in for a treat. This game is a real indie gem. If you like pixel art and indie games, I suggest you check out my channel, there might be more videos you will be interested in. On that note, I bid you farewell. This was Murasame and I will see you next time. Lights out. And make sure to remember,
Winners never quit and quitters never win!